We're all aware of our province's difficult financial situation, facing a $1.2 billion deficit. So it caught our eye when today the Canadian Taxpayers Federation put out some recommendations on how to create a heritage fund in this province. This is not a new idea. It's something that's been floated before. In fact, at one time, Premier Brad Wall said he was in favor of a heritage fund, but now says his priority is paying down the provincial debt. Todd MacKay is with the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Todd, tell us exactly what a heritage fund is.
Well, basically, you take some of the money during the good times, particularly non-renewable resource revenue, oil, gas, potash revenues, and put it in a savings account so you've got some of the investment income to cover you in tough times. It's really important. Obviously, right now, that investment income would be really handy, but you have to set a plan in place. So right now, we're learning to live without high non-renewable resource revenue. Now's the time to get ready for when the next boom hopefully comes.
What are your recommendations?
Yes, we've got 3 recommendations. First of all, start with a referendum. Make sure all Saskatchewanians are on board with this, but also set the standard that if a future government wants to loot the fund, take the money out, put it into their pet projects, that they know they need to go back to the people with another referendum. You have to protect that money. Secondly, cap the amount of non-renewable resource revenues that a government can use in any given year. And when the revenues go above that cap, then the money goes to debt reduction, and then after the debt's paid off, then it goes to a heritage fund. And lastly, protect that nest egg. Don't allow governments to take that money out or invest it in whatever their whims are. You have to invest it intelligently, you have to protect it, and then we can enjoy the investment income that comes with it.
The government has said it's focused on debt reduction. So how do you say that we can do both? We can save and pay down that debt at the same time.
We have to pay down the debt. That needs to happen, but you have to have a plan for that. Look, all of us have mortgages, but our mortgages are a little bit different than government debt because we actually make payments every month. And if you forget, probably the bank's going to remind you. Governments, not just this one, but governments across the country and around the world routinely borrow money and then forget to pay down that debt. We need to have a plan in place. It's great to say that you want to pay down debt, but you have to have a plan and make it happen. That's part of what this is. When we get those windfalls, when we get those boom years, the decision needs to be made now to put that money into paying down debt. We can't wait to see what to do with the money then.
How do you convince a government to do this when it essentially takes some of their spending power away if it was in effect?
It comes down to the people. This isn't the government's money. This is our money. And so that's why we're putting this out there and trying to get people talking about this. Tell your MLAs that we want to make sure. We've all seen the bumper sticker. Please give us another boom. We promise not to, throw it away next time. We've got to be ready for it. If we want another boom, let's be ready for it. Tell your MLA, let's make it happen. It's our money, let's make it happen.
The government says no to a referendum. It's too costly. They don't think it's necessary. What's your response to that?
Well, first of all, it doesn't have to be all that costly. You can run it in conjunction with the next election. So it can be pretty cheap. But further to that, how are they going to protect the fund down the road? If this government promises to stick around and protect the fund indefinitely, maybe, but we all know that governments change and they can't guarantee what a premier 2, 3, 4 premiers from now is going to do. We've got to put those rules in place right now, and the best way to protect a fund like this is with the will of the people and making it absolutely clear that a future government, if they want to mess with the fund, they got to ask the people first.
Thanks for your time today, Todd.
Thanks for having me.